Walk onto any used car lot in America today, and you will see them parked near the service entrance, spotless, low mileage, traded in by someone's grandmother who drove it to church and the grocery store for 9 years straight. Meanwhile, the salesman is trying to push every senior who walks in toward a brand new compact crossover with a turbocharged 3-cylinder, a CVT, that will shudder at 60,000 miles, and a monthly payment that eats half their pension. I have been a mechanic for over 2 decades, and I am telling you right now, the 3 SUVs I am about to break down are the only ones I recommend when someone's parent or grandparent calls me and says, I need something I can drive for the rest of my life without worrying about it. Number 3 is solid. Number 2 is outstanding. But number 1 is the SUV I would hand the keys to my own mother tomorrow and never lose a minute of sleep. Let's get into it. Number 3 is the Toyota Highlander, 2nd generation, from 2008 to 2013, specifically with the 3.5-liter V6. This is the SUV that never shows up on flashy YouTube lists because it is not exciting. It does not have a sport mode that matters. It does not have a body kit or aggressive styling. What it has is the 2GR-FE, a 3.5-liter naturally aspirated V6 that Toyota put in everything from the Camry to the Lexus RX 350 because it is one of the most reliable engines they have ever built. Timing chain, not a belt. Port fuel injection, not direct injection. No turbocharger, no supercharger, no variable displacement tricks. Just a simple, proven power plant that produces 270 horsepower and has been documented crossing 300,000 miles on original internals and vehicles all over the world. Last spring, a retired postal worker came into my shop. He was 74, had a bad left hip, and his wife had just told him their 2006 Buick Rendezvous was done. The transmission was slipping and the repair quote was $3,400. He had $14,000 saved and wanted something that would last him at least another decade without a major surprise. I pointed him to a 2012 Toyota Highlander SE with the 3.5-liter V6. It had 88,000 miles, 1 owner, full service records, and a price tag of $13,200. He bought it that weekend. He came back 4 months later for an oil change and told me it was the most comfortable vehicle he had ever owned. His wife loved it too because the second row seats folded flat and she could load her walker in the back without asking for help. Here is what makes the Highlander so perfect for seniors. The step-in height is right around 22 inches, which is almost identical to chair height. You do not climb up into it like a 4Runner, and you do not drop down into it like a sedan. You sit. The doors open wide, the sills are low, and the floor behind the front seats is practically flat. Visibility is excellent because Toyota had not yet committed to the giant rising belt lines that turned newer SUVs into bunkers with small windows. The greenhouse is generous in every direction, which matters enormously for an older driver who needs to see parking lot obstacles and merge traffic without craning their neck. The 5-speed automatic transmission in these is Toyota's U6 and 60E, the same unit used in the Lexus RX 350. It is not the newest transmission on the market, and it is not the most fuel efficient. But it shifts smoothly, responds predictably, and has a documented track record that stretches into hundreds of thousands of miles when the fluid is changed every 60,000 miles. I have seen exactly 3 of these fail in my career, and every single one was a case where the owner never touched the transmission fluid from the day they bought it. Current pricing on a 2011 to 2013 Highlander with the V6 and under 100,000 miles is running between $12,000 and $17,000, depending on trim and region. Compare that to a same-year Honda Pilot, which is a fine vehicle but sells for $2,000 to $3,000 more because of badge recognition. Or compare it to a same-year Ford Edge with the 3.5-liter engine, which uses the same displacement, but a completely different engine design with known water pump failures that can dump coolant into the engine oil. That Ford repair runs $2,500 or more, and it is not a question of if, it is a question of when. When you go shopping for a Highlander, here is your checklist. Check the variable valve timing oil line on 2008 to 2012 models. There is a rubber oil delivery hose for the variable valve timing system that Toyota eventually updated to a metal line. If the original rubber line has not been replaced, budget $200 to $300 for the fix and get it done immediately, because if that line fails, it can dump oil fast enough to starve the engine in minutes. That is the single most important thing to verify on any 2GRFE powered Toyota or Lexus from this era. Check the front struts for any leaking. They tend to wear out around 120,000 miles, and replacement runs about $800 for the pair at an independent shop. Look at the rear hatch struts. They get weak with age and the hatch will not stay up on its own. It is a $60 fix you can do yourself in 10 minutes, but it tells you how well the previous owner maintained the small stuff. If the hatch struts are original and sagging, but the engine has fresh fluids and clean filters, you have found someone who kept up with what mattered. If you are watching this and finding it helpful, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. I put out videos every week covering the vehicles dealerships hide from you and the ones that actually deserve your money. Now let me tell you about number 2, because this is where things get serious. Number 2 is the Lexus RX 350, 3rd generation, from 2010 to 2015. This is the SUV that every mechanic I know respects, and I am not using that word loosely. Respect in a shop is earned by vehicles that come in with 180,000 miles and leave with nothing more than an oil change and a filter. The RX 350 does that more consistently than any mid-size luxury SUV I have ever worked on. The engine is the same 2GRFE 3.5-liter V6 from the Highlander, same timing chain, same port fuel injection, and the same naturally aspirated simplicity. Lexus wrapped that powertrain in a cabin that originally cost $40,000 new and now sells for a fraction of that on the used market, because depreciation on luxury badges is savage and works entirely in your favor. You are getting the exact same Toyota powertrain with heated leather seats, a whisper quiet cabin, and a ride quality that floats over potholes like they are not even there. A retired nurse came into my shop 2 years ago. She was 72 and she had rheumatoid arthritis in both hands and in her right knee. Her biggest fear was being stranded on the side of the road because something broke. She had been driving a 2009 Nissan Murano, and the continuously variable transmission had just failed at 114,000 miles. The repair quote was $4,600. I told her to sell it for parts and find a 2013 Lexus RX 350. She looked at me like I was speaking another language. She said she could not afford a Lexus. I showed her 3 listings under $18,000 with mileage between 70,000 and 90,000. She bought a 2013 RX 350 with 82,000 miles for $16,800. That was 2 years ago. She has put 34,000 miles on it since then. Total unplanned repairs, 0, not 1. She gets her oil changed, she rotates her tires, and she drives. That is the entire ownership experience. Here is why the RX 350 is so perfectly suited for older drivers. The seat height is approximately 21 inches off the ground, which Lexus engineered specifically as chair height. You do not lift your legs to step up, and you do not lower yourself down. You pivot and sit exactly the way you would sit in a dining room chair. For anyone with a knee replacement, a hip issue, or just the general stiffness that comes with age, that motion is everything. The doors open wide and the sills are low, so you are not dragging your leg over a high threshold. The steering wheel telescopes and tilts with a wide range of adjustment, so a driver who is 5'2" and a driver who is 6'3" can both find a comfortable position without compromise. The mirrors are oversized. The blind spots are smaller than nearly any modern SUV, because Lexus prioritized glass area over styling. and the ride quality is tuned for comfort in a way that German competitors simply do not match. It absorbs road imperfections instead of transmitting them through the chassis and into your spine. The 6-speed automatic in the RX 350 is the same U660E found in the Highlander, and it is paired with the same proven drivetrain. Annual maintenance cost, according to Repair Pal, is around $457, which is the lowest of any mid-size luxury SUV on the market. The probability of a major repair is roughly 9%, compared to 19% for the luxury mid-size segment average. That means the RX 350 is half as likely to need a major repair as the average luxury SUV in its class. Half. Current market pricing on a 2013 to 2015 RX 350 with under 90,000 miles is between $17,000 and $22,000. Compare that to a same-year BMW X3 at $16,000 to $20,000 that will need a timing chain tensioner job at 100,000 miles costing $2,800. Or a same-year Audi Q5 that averages over $900 a year in maintenance. You are paying similar money up front for a vehicle that will cost you a third as much to keep running. When inspecting one, check the VVT oil line just like the Highlander. Same engine, same issue, same fix. Listen for any whine from the electric power steering motor at low speeds, because it can wear at high mileage and costs about $700 to repair. Check the dashboard on 2010 to 2012 models for cracking in hot climates. Toyota extended the warranty on this, and most have been addressed, but verify it. And check the rear hatch struts, same as the Highlander. They weaken around 100,000 miles and cost $80 for a pair. Now here it is. Number 1. The single SUV I have recommended to more seniors than any other vehicle in my entire career. And it is not even close. Number 1. The Lexus GX 460. From 2010 to 2019. This is the SUV I would buy for my own parents tomorrow, without a moment of hesitation. And I am going to tell you exactly why. The GX 460 is not just reliable. It is over-engineered to a degree that borders on absurd. It is built on a body-on-frame truck platform shared with the Toyota 4Runner and the Land Cruiser Prado in international markets. It has full-time four-wheel drive with a torsion center differential, which means you leave it in drive and it handles rain, snow, ice, gravel, and dry pavement without you ever touching a button or selecting a mode. For an older driver who does not want to think about traction settings in a snowstorm, that simplicity is priceless. The engine is the One URFE, a 4.6-liter V8 that Toyota designed for global markets, including regions where the nearest dealer is 1,000 miles away. It is naturally aspirated with both port and direct injection, which eliminates the carbon buildup problem that plagues every purely direct injected engine on the market. Timing chain, not a belt, no turbo, no supercharger, no cylinder deactivation, nothing electronically clever that will fail and leave you on the shoulder of the highway. I have personally seen multiple examples of this engine exceed 300,000 miles on factory internals, and I have one customer with a 2011 GX 460 at over 280,000 miles who has never had a single engine or transmission repair. Not one. 3 years ago, a retired dentist came into my shop. He was 69, his wife was 66, and they had just sold their vacation home in Vermont. They wanted one vehicle they could drive year-round in New England winters, tow a small boat in the summer, and keep for the rest of their driving years without worrying about catastrophic repair bills. They had been looking at a new Toyota Highlander for $42,000. I told them to sit down. I pulled up a listing for a 2015 Lexus GX 460 with 87,000 miles, one owner, full Lexus dealer service history, priced at $27,500. I walked them through the engineering. I showed them my shop records on every GX I had serviced. I told them the Highlander is a great vehicle, but the GX 460 is built to a standard that Toyota reserves for its truck-based platforms. And it will still be running perfectly when a new Highlander is developing its first major repair. They bought the GX. 2 years later, the odometer reads 139,000 miles. Total repairs beyond routine maintenance have been one wheel bearing at 128,000 miles and a set of brake pads. His wife told me it is the first vehicle she has owned where she has never once felt nervous driving in a snowstorm. That is not a marketing line. That is a real person telling me a real thing. The 6-speed automatic in the GX 460 is the same unit Toyota has been running in its truck lineup for over 15 years with virtually zero design changes because they got it right and saw no reason to complicate it. The transfer case is full-time 4-wheel drive, meaning you never shift anything, never engage anything, never wonder if you are in the right mode. You drive. The vehicle handles the rest. For seniors specifically, the GX has a higher step-in than the RX. But Lexus includes a factory side step on every model, and the door opening is enormous. My customers with back problems actually prefer it to lower SUVs because they can sit down onto the seat and swing their legs in rather than folding themselves into a lower cabin. The seats are heated, ventilated, and power adjustable with enough range to accommodate anyone from 5 nothing to well over 6 feet. The steering wheel telescopes a full 4 inches. The cabin is library quiet at highway speeds, and the ride quality, while firmer than the RX because of the body-on-frame construction, is still remarkably composed over broken pavement. Current pricing on a 2014 to 2016 GX 460 with under 100,000 miles is between $24,000 and $31,000. That sounds like real money until you compare it to what it replaces. A same-year Mercedes GLE will cost you $5,000 in repairs in the first 3 years. A same-year BMW X5 depreciates faster, but costs triple to maintain. A same-year Land Rover LR4 is mechanically gorgeous when it works and financially devastating when it does not, and it will not. The GX 460 costs more upfront than the other two on this list, but the total cost of ownership over a decade is lower than almost any luxury SUV ever made, because nothing breaks. Inspection checklist. Check the rear air suspension. The GX uses a rear-only air system that is generally reliable, but the bags can develop slow leaks around 130,000 miles. A new bag is about $400 installed. Test it by watching the rear end after the vehicle sits overnight. If it is sagging, negotiate the price down and fix it. Check the side swinging rear door hinge because it can sag with age and cost $600 to replace. Look underneath for any signs of off-road abuse or aftermarket lift kits. Some previous owners took these things trail riding, which they are absolutely built for, but it adds wear to steering and suspension components that you will inherit. Here is my final word on these three. The Toyota Highlander is the value pick. It gives you the same bulletproof 2GR FE powertrain as the Lexus RX in a practical 3-row package for thousands less. The Lexus RX 350 is the comfort champion. It is the quietest, smoothest, most refined ownership experience on this list, with the lowest maintenance costs of any luxury SUV ever measured. And the Lexus GX 460 is the forever truck. It is the one you buy when you want to hand the keys to your grandkids someday and know it will still start on the first turn. Any one of these three will give a senior driver a comfortable, safe, and worry-free ownership experience without the repair bills that make you call your children in a panic. Skip the German lease returns. Skip the new crossovers with turbocharged engines and continuously variable transmissions that are engineered to last exactly 1 day past the warranty. Buy one of these three, get a pre-purchase inspection from an independent mechanic you trust, and drive it for the next decade or longer with complete peace of mind. If this helped you or someone in your family, hit that like button and subscribe. I have more videos coming on the vehicles dealerships push versus the ones that actually deserve your money. Take care of your car, and it will take care of you. I will see you in the next one.